Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a lot of questions that I would have, and time will not permit you to ask all of them. But we know that drilling is not going to solve the issue. I think we need to look for more alternative ways to produce the energy that is necessary, whether it's for farming or for running the diesel fuel trucks or the equipment that is needed in farms. I've been to some of the research institutions where they're using algae trying to produce some fuel for John Deere. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but that's something futuristic, and who knows, maybe that'll become or come to fruition someday. But Mr. Shawcroft, if the entire outer continental shelf were open to drilling, it only increased the oil production by 1.6% by the year 2030, and peak at 0.78 cent barrel per day, reduced world prices by 78 cents per barrel. The BLM states that out of 41 million acres already under lease onshore, only 12 million acres, less than 1/3 or 30%, is actually in production. In the last 2 years, U.S. has increased oil production by more than 1/3. In 2010, the Bureau of Ocean Management offered 37 million acres in the Gulf. However, oil companies are only producing on 6.5 million acres, which is 70%. So wouldn't it be possible that we can't continue to rely on oil production and should be focusing time and funding toward renewable energies to supplant our needs? And I do agree with your statement. Energy independence should be our nation's focus, and I think that's this administration's been doing that very well. And again, on the research, those are issues that are critical for me. And then to the farmers is additional improvements in manufacturing, producing the largest crops, especially when it deals to water. And the ranking member on water and power, and water is a commodity we no longer have too much of. So I'll lay it on you, and if you will address those.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Napolitano, as well as the committee, several issues you have raised. Certainly we do believe in developing renewable energies, and we believe that even futuristic energies that are being developed now, we need to be working on those things so that when they become economically viable and they really provide a solution or a supplement to our need today, that needs to be pursued. You raised the issue of leases and production. There's another important component that I believe has been mentioned very clearly today, and that is the permitting process. Just because an oil company has a lease in an area does not mean that they have a permit to extract what we need out of those lands.
They may not have applied for those permits.
Or they may not have, that's true, and if they do not know, as I think Ms. Harbert mentioned, they may not know exactly what the rules of the game, so to speak, are going to be. And that is an uncertainty of which oil companies are not willing to take. We face the same thing as far as uncertainty as what our fuel costs are going to be for the coming growing season. I'm very troubled by the fact that diesel fuel very likely will be over $4 a gallon, maybe over $5 a gallon for the summer when we move our cattle to and from the range. Last year it cost us $4 per loaded mile. This year, I don't know what it'll be, 5, 6. It's a very scary situation. Did I answer your questions adequately, ma'am?
Sort of, kind of. Anybody else? I have limited time, so I wanted to make sure that I got an opportunity for somebody else to answer.
I think we agree on a number of the points that you just raised. We are going to need multiple options going forward to secure our energy future, but that doesn't mean shutting off the options we have today. I think I would comment on your estimate about the amount of oil that might be on the outer continental shelf. That is based on 35-year-old data and has not been updated yet, and we need access to the shelf for the industry, who is best positioned really to know, was mentioned earlier, about where are the highest probability potential reservoirs. And so we are going to need lots of options. Let's use today's and invest in tomorrow's as well.
Thank you. Mr. Fox, the administration's 2012 budget requests $4 per acre foot for non-producing federal oil and gas leases, which would provide incentive for the oil and gas companies to produce more resources. The H.R. 927, the United States Exploration and Idle Tracts, introduced by our ranking member and Representative Holt, also institutes this fee and repeals deep gas industry royal relief. Is this is your organization supportive of the budget request and of this provision in the legislation? And if not, what improvements should be made?
I don't know enough about that particular provision to answer that question accurately.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.